What is going on, guys? Dave from Wake Up It's Football with the Red Zone Blitz alongside of Ezra from Idiot Sports Talk. We are wrapping up the conference championship games. The NFC championship game is over, and you've got Denver and Seattle headed to the Super Bowl. Ezra, how's it going?
After today, those games, amazing, man. I'm feeling good, loving it. You know, I'm not a fan of any of these teams, but I love watching great football, and that's what we got today.
Well, we're gonna definitely break these games down. Probably do the AFC game first, then we'll do the NFC, and kind of talk about how everything just kind of broke down. Also, just watched Richard Sherman go off in a post-game little interview with Aaron Andrews, so we'll probably get to that as well. Now, let's get to the AFC Championship game earlier today with Peyton Manning, Tom Brady. They say it's Chapter 15, right? Game played in Denver. Now, every time they've played these AFC Championship games between the two guys, today was the fourth one, the home team has won that game. Two games have been played in Foxborough. Tom Brady won those. Peyton Manning played one in Indianapolis. He won that one. Today was played in Denver, and he also won that one. How much of that game did you watch, first of all, Ezra?
I watched the whole game,
The whole game.
And I was cheering for the Denver Broncos because I'm a Jets fan, and you know my love and hate relation. There's no love. There's no love there for the New England Patriots, but they do deserve a lot of respect, and I've been giving it to them the last couple of weeks here on the Red Zone Blitz. But I watched the whole game, and it was a great game to watch. Even though the score doesn't indicate that, and Tom Brady, we'll get into that, he wasn't himself today, but it was still a great game.
It was, and I mean, for me, I was rooting for Peyton Manning just because the amount of times we bring Peyton Manning up on the show and talk about how, you know, he only has one Super Bowl ring compared to Eli Manning, and some people even think Eli Manning is better than Peyton Manning. They want to make the argument that Peyton Manning is probably a good, very good quarterback, but maybe not the best of all time. I disagree with that. But I think he really needed this game. He really needed to win. Now he has a shot to win another one to solidify a little bit more of his legacy, even though he doesn't need to all the naysayers out there. So, let me get
that playoff failure. Yeah, that playoff failure is going to his third Super Bowl. I've never understood. We've spoken about this a million times. Never understood this criticism of Peyton Manning that he's a failure. They show his record, but he's going to his third Super Bowl. And I've been telling you all year long, this man is on a mission. He is tired of hearing this crap. So am I, and I'm not even Peyton Manning. And I know this feels so sweet for him right now, but he has one more game to win. Because if he doesn't win, those naysayers, those idiots will come back and talk crap about him.
And Peyton Manning had a good game today. I mean, if you want to read off his stat line, 32 for 43, 400 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, a QBR of 88.8. I mean, and this is an AFC championship game. What more do you want from the guy? Playing against Tom Brady, the guy who's always in the playoffs, the guy who has the most experience in the playoffs than probably anyone else in NFL history. As for Tom Brady, 24 for 38, 277 yards and a touchdown with a 66.1 QBR. And it's not like he played absolutely terrible either. But I think Peyton Manning outplayed him. I think the Broncos came to play, and a lot of people wanted to point the finger at the Broncos defense as the unit that probably wasn't going to last between the 4 units that you would mainly talk about, being the Broncos offense and defense and the Patriots offense and defense. The Broncos defense came to play today, and shout out to Terrence Knighton because I think he deserves maybe the defensive player of the game for what he did. Let me pull up his performance. Knighton, 4 total tackles, a sack, 2 for losses, and he had a QB hit. Whatever. I thought he had 2 forced fumbles, 2 tackles for loss. Point is, he was one of those anchors on that defensive line that kept disrupting the play. He had a huge 4th down stop. You need guys like that who perform at the higher stages, especially in the AFC Championship game. So
like
both offensively and defensively, they did well.
Like you said, he disrupted the pot roast, disrupted the running game, and he had that huge sack when the Patriots were driving, and he was their defensive MVP today. And people want to talk about injuries to the Patriots and stuff like that. You know what? The Broncos had injuries going into this game also. All right, and especially in the defensive side of the ball. And all week, and the last 2 weeks, people talk about, Bill Belichick, versus Peyton Manning. He's a defensive genius. He'll make these matchups. People forget John Fox is a defensive guy himself. And today, he had a great game plan. He executed it, and his team executed it. And you know what? They slowed down Tom Brady. And you say he didn't. His numbers don't indicate that he was terrible today. I thought he was. He had a couple overthrows, especially one that could have went for a touchdown to Edelman. And even when he was in the goal line, he had, I remember, a 3rd and 3 he missed. And then he had that overthrow, I think, once again to, I think it was Amendola or Edelman. But he scored that touchdown, I think it was in the fourth quarter. Yeah, it was in the fourth quarter. I wrote it down because I know it was a key play of the game. But he was making a lot of overthrows. He just wasn't himself. He just wasn't making the key throws that he usually does.
One thing you got to talk about when it comes to the New England Patriots, specifically this game today, is I feel as if Tom Brady wasn't 100% comfortable. You don't have Rob Gronkowski. Like they showed this on ESPN today. He doesn't have almost any of the weapons he had last year compared to what he has this season. He has Danny Amendola. You have Julian Edelman, who had a nice season. But you don't have Rob Gronkowski out there. You don't have Aaron Hernandez. You don't have Brandon Lloyd from last year. I felt as if he was really missing some of those weapons, especially when you notice him throwing to Michael Humanawinui. Okay? If Humanawinui is the number 1 tight end out there for them, something's wrong. Gronk needs to get healthy this offseason. He needs to learn how to stay healthy this entire season for them. Without Gronk, there were times where Tom Brady definitely struggled, and that's why statistically I feel as if Tom Brady might have had his worst season in a little while. This today in the AFC Championship game, I felt as if he kind of had one of those games where obviously it wasn't his best performance, but his supporting cast around him, it's not the best that they could have had. And yeah, you can point the finger at injuries, but also, I mean, you got to wait for some of these guys to develop, and some of the rookie receivers that they have in Dobson.
And some of that falls on Bill Belichick too, okay? It falls on the management also. You let Brandon Lloyd go, okay? That's first of all. You let Wes Welker go. This is the Patriots' fault. Plain and simple. They don't have the pieces around Tom Brady, and that's the excuses the fans want to use for Tom Brady. You got to blame the Patriots, okay? I don't want to hear this crap that Peyton Manning has better weapons. He does. He sure does. And some of those things you said, you know what, deservedly so. But his injuries are part of the game. If that's the point, Broncos are missing Chris Harris. Their starting cornerback. Champ Bailey had to play, had to come in and play. He was, what is it, 37,000 years old at cornerback? He played today, didn't he? And I saw guys wide open. Their job is to, catch the ball. And if Tom Brady's not getting the ball in position, it's not their fault. It's Tom Brady's fault. So I'm tired of the excuses here. You know what? If you are going to give excuses for Tom Brady, anybody out there, I want to hear the same damn excuses for everyone else, because everyone has injuries, they has problems in the offseason, etc. So please, get off your knees and stop sucking off Tom Brady, because I'm getting sick of it. Today he played like crap. I give him respect all the time. I can sound like a hater to you. I don't care. I'm a Jets fan. Yes, I hate him. Tape down. I've seen the man win too much, and today he just wasn't himself. John Fox had a great game plan. Peyton Manning, 400 yards. Julius Thomas was killing them. I know they have more injuries, the Patriots. They have Mayo out, Vince Wilfork. I understand that, but everyone suffers injuries. The Seahawks just won their game, right? Are they missing their most explosive playmaker on the offensive side of the ball? Percy Harvin? Is he the most talented guy? Isn't Percy the most talented guy?
Yeah, he's also made of glass.
All right, but he's injury, right? And they won the game.
Yeah, they won the game. They've won. Look, let's not even put Percy into this conversation because he hasn't probably even been there for most of the season. What he play one game during the regular season? He just got hurt again.
Well, Sidney Rice too. One of their top, it was their big time acquisition a couple years ago. He barely plays also. They got it done. That's my point. They got it done. So don't come with me to excuses.
And before we go to the NFC game, I really, really, really wanted Peyton Manning to win this one just because not even the whole Eli and Peyton comparison, the whole Tom Brady Peyton Manning comparison. Tom Brady's had so many opportunities. He's 3-2 all-time in Super Bowls. Peyton Manning is 1-1. He's been to 2. Tom Brady's been to 5. If Tom Brady won this game, he would have been to 6. I wanted to see I wanted to see Peyton Manning win this game, get to the Super Bowl, and I want to see him win at least one more Super Bowl before he retires, because I feel as if he should be labeled as a top 3 quarterback, if not the best quarterback of all time. Regardless of what the stats or the rings say, we've said it so many times, just everything he's done, pre-snap, post-snap, how he's been able to lead teams, the record that he held in Indianapolis season after season for 10-plus wins every year. Not a lot of quarterbacks have done that. So I think Peyton Manning deserves one more Super Bowl, and I think his shot is here now against Seattle in 2 weeks. So we'll wait and see. And before the regular season started, I made my preseason prediction for the Super Bowl. I said Seattle and Denver. Probably the popular pick, but it still came true, which is kind of cool. Let's head to the NFC. Let's head to Seattle. The 12th man.
I don't know. There was a lot of stuff we can still talk about the AFC game.
Go ahead.
I'm just saying, what did I write down here? That first quarter when the Broncos were going that drive, that touchdown drive, that 3rd and 10. Okay, Bill Belichick, I think he had his four cornerbacks in there. They thought they were going for a pass, and they went for that draw play. And Marshawn, had that big run, which set up for that scoring drive there. I just want to give credit to Peyton Manning for calling a draw play at that point, and that just changed the momentum. I think set the tone for the rest of the game. He had a strong game today, and we already spoke about pot roast, and the injury against the Patriots, Talib, that hurt him a lot. I was talking about it all over Facebook. That injury was going to hurt him going forward. You saw Julius Thomas after his Talib's injury. They had to change another guy and put on Julius Thomas, and he started going off for the rest of the game. So that did mess up a lot. Also, the Patriots' game plan. But Tom Brady, I just got to go back to him. He just wasn't himself. I don't know what it was. And who deserves a lot of credit on the Broncos side is that offensive line. Did anyone get within 5 yards of Peyton Manning today? I didn't see anyone get close to him. The Patriots didn't generate no pass rush, and the Broncos are missing their left tackle, aren't they? They're missing their best offensive lineman, and today their offensive line was just spot on, and that was another key reason why Peyton Manning was able to throw 400 yards on Bill Belichick's defense. So I think that deserves a lot of credit, but Peyton Manning, I'm so happy for him. And I will be cheering for the Broncos in the Super Bowl because I usually go for AFC teams because, I'm an AFC guy.
All right. Well, when it comes to Super Bowls, I'm going to pick a team, doesn't matter AFC or NFC. I don't care. I'll reveal who I'm picking later on. But I think it came down to execution today. And it might sound, cliche or the kind of boring answer, but if you don't execute, you're not going to win. And I felt as if the Broncos definitely did a lot better job than the Patriots did when it came down to executing the game plan, what they had in order to win that game. So I watched more of the Seahawks and Niners game than I did of the Broncos and Patriots game, but from what I saw, I know I just mentioned earlier when I read off Tom Brady's stat line that I said that he had a decent game, but I also did see some overthrows, especially in the end zone a couple of times, that was unlike Tom Brady. And, like I said before, Tom Brady, for whatever reason, just didn't have a good game or a good enough game to win this one. But I think it comes down to the weapons they had, and it comes down to execution, and that's just kind of something that, the Broncos played the better game, and that's why they won. Seattle, San Francisco.
Yeah, I know you're feeling good right now. Colin Kaepernick, he went down and he played, especially, when he was running the ball, he looked spectacular. He was great with his legs, but it was with his arm that put the 49ers downhill today. And I know that must feel good for you, David. Come on. I know it feels a little, come on, it feels a little good. You see Colin Kaepernick, hurting and throwing some interceptions to end the game.
Well, he threw that interception to Cam Chancellor in the fourth quarter after the Marshawn Lynch fumble, and they kicked that field goal to go up 23-17, and they start marching down the field, and all they need is a touchdown to win, because it would put them at 24-23, and I'm thinking, you know what, man? I think the 49ers might get this. I saw it against Green Bay. They had a fourth quarter, late game drive where they won the game. They might do it again. They were down at the 29-yard line, I believe it was, and they throw it up to Michael Crabtree, and Richard Sherman just deflects the ball back, and I forget who picked the ball off. That was the game. That was game over. And that was under a minute. I believe it was 55 seconds left on the clock. So, yeah, Colin Kaepernick, I mean, there were a couple of throws that I just did not even believe he completed. There was one where he kind of threw off his back. He looked like he almost jumped and threw the ball to, was it Bolden maybe, or Crab? One of the two.
I think it was Bolden, yeah.
And it was phenomenal. I couldn't believe he completed that pass.
That was a beautiful throw. That was a beautiful throw, though.
It was, and
a run too.
Something like that makes you think, well, he can, at least he has some accuracy to him. But then you see some of these other picks that he's throwing, and is it a matter of inconsistency with Kaepernick, or is it a matter of they don't utilize him as much as they should be in the passing game? Because I think at one point, Troy Aikman said that he only had 5 passes completed up to a certain point, or 5 passes thrown up to a certain point in that game. So I think they should utilize him a little bit more, but I mean, when it comes to the pocket breaking down, him having to extend the play on his feet, he has no problem doing that. And they showed another stat in that game where Colin Kaepernick has now 2 career 100-yard rushing games in the playoffs, and I think there's only been one other 100-yard rushing game from a quarterback in the history of the postseason. And he has 2. There's been 3. Kaepernick has 2 alone. So, he's a dual threat. He's a double-dimensional type of guy. But when it comes to that critical moment, completing that pass, 30 yards out to win the game, he wasn't able to do it. So, do I feel happy? I guess. Yeah, I feel happy just because he knocked my Packers out. But I also was rooting a little bit for the Seahawks because I picked them to win this game. I picked them to go to the Super Bowl before the season started. So those are my 2 cents on that game.
Well, we have James in the chat room right now. He's slamming that decision to throw it to Kaepernick Crabtree, excuse me. He threw it to Crabtree at the end. He believes that was the wrong decision. To me, I have no ill will towards that play. I thought he made a great decision. I thought it was a good throw. It's just Richard Sherman made an incredible athletic play on it. A lot of people call him the best cornerback in the league for a reason, and he showed it right there. And he made the ball bounce in the air, and the safety was there to catch the interception. I have no fault with that throw by Cap. What do you think?
No, I don't either. I think, Crabtree's the number 2 receiver on the team. Maybe Kaepernick thought that, Crabtree would jump up and get the ball. And weren't we just having a discussion last week or 2 weeks ago on who has the best receiving tandem in the league, and somebody said the Niners?
Yeah, it wasn't me. That's for sure.
No, it wasn't me either.
I like Crabtree, but even his coach, they've been talking about this last few weeks. His coach said that Crabtree has the best pair of hands. He's the best catcher ever. I don't know if any of us believe that but he does have great hands, and I have no, like I said, I have no fault at Cap for making that decision. I just thought it was just more of an incredible play by Richard Sherman, and he was talking smack right after the game, which I have no problem with. I like this, this rivalry thing. I like when people talk smack about another team. I find that cool, as long as it doesn't get disrespectful. As long as you don't cross the line talking about someone's family member or such and such. Talking smack, I have no problem with that. So I got no problem with Richard Sherman doing that. I think it just creates more of a rivalry. Next year people are going to look forward to those matchups even more.
I want to see if I can find. I have a video of it, of what Richard Sherman said, but maybe it would be easier to read it from somewhere if someone actually typed it down. So I'm going to check ESPN real quick, because at the end of the game, Aaron Andrews pulls Richard Sherman aside and asks him about the play where he tips the ball and his teammate intercepts it. ESPN doesn't have anything up right now. And Richard Sherman pretty much says, Don't talk trash about me. I'm the best corner in the league. Michael Crabtree's a sorry receiver. Michael Crabtree sucks. Again, like he reiterated that he's the best corner, and then he just walked off. And I want to see it again, because I was getting the red zone blitz set up and everything, making sure everything was good, and I see Richard Sherman just go off, and I'm like, oh, I gotta watch this. But yeah, he said what he had to say, and he got off the field. So, do I have a problem with it? No, I don't think I do. He didn't say anything bad. He didn't say anything offensive. It was heat of the moment, and it was something that if I was a Seahawks fan, I would have just been pounding my chest like, yeah, that's my guy, that's Richard Sherman. If I was a Niners fan, oh man, I would have been so irritated if I watched Sherman say what he said. But I don't have a problem with it. I think it's a little bit more rare that players do that, but I think it's really cool when you watch it happen. So yeah, it's entertaining. So Seattle wins this game. Now I think we should maybe break down, not even break down, but talk about this game a little bit more before we go to the FanDuel comment box. Heading into halftime, this game was 10-3, and I think a lot of people predicted that this game was going to be a low-scoring game. Not too much excitement, a couple of field goals, and an Anthony Dixon 1-yard run where he jumped over the pile. In the third quarter, Marshawn Lynch had just a beast mode run. Not quite like the one he had against the Saints a couple years ago, but he did a bit of a beast mode run, 40-yarder. Anquan Boldin also had a 26-yard catch from Colin Kaepernick for a touchdown. And then in the fourth quarter, Jermaine Kearse had a 35-yard catch that was just phenomenal. Phenomenal strike from Russell Wilson. It was a three receiver. I think it was a four-receiver set. Three receivers on the right side. They all ran seams or streaks, and he threw it to Kearse, who's the middle receiver, and it was just accurate. It was dead on. It was a strike, and that put them up, I think, 20-17 at that point. They also had a field goal later, 23-17, which would be the final score. If you guys want me to read off some of the stat lines, Kaepernick, 14 for 24, 153 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, and he was also sacked twice. Russell Wilson, 16 of 25, 215 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. He was sacked 4 times.
Yeah, I was going to say the 49ers pass rush was all over Russell Wilson today. Like he was a new cereal box or something. It was just munching on him all day today. Then beast mode, calmed that down a little bit by running effectively in the second half, and that touchdown run, which was a beautiful run, really helped him out in the second half and stopped that pass rush. But they were getting at him big time today. 49ers defense was on point. And that tough, I hope he's okay, man. Bowman, which the 49ers got robbed in that third down, goal line, when he forced that fumble, the 49ers should have had possession right after that fumble that he ripped away. And that was disgusting. A good thing, Fate, like I was saying, and Lynch coughed up the ball the next play so the 49ers could get the ball right back. But first, I hope, Bowman is okay. or a quick recovery. And the refs today were pretty horrid in this game. So, and that possession right there, was a killer.
I like how Fox also had to put 35 different camera angles on that injury, but
it was nasty, man. It was a nasty injury.
It was. I think it's time to head down to the FanDuel comment box. We got so much to catch up on. Everybody's throwing comments down below. I don't even know where to start. 18 Lockhart says, David must be extra happy that his arch nemesis lost today. My arch nemesis being Colin Kaepernick. And yeah, I am happy about that. James Ornalis says that I just thought the last play of the 49ers was so stupid. Why do you throw to Crabtree? I do not understand. Crabtree had a bad game all game long. He caught 2 throws, and it was just sickening. Well, I mean, like me and Ezra hit on it before, I think, Crabtree is their number 2 receiver, and you gotta give him looks.
And Baldwin had a couple drops today too. I act like Baldwin, he was perfect today. He had, easy drops today. So, and once again, when you believe a guy is open, you got to go for it. And like I said, it was Richard Sherman who made that amazing play. That's not Crabtree's fault at all there. That was just Richard Sherman being great.
The Postman 257 says this has to be the first time that both the first seeds have been to the Super Bowl. I think the last time, according to 18 Lockhart, is the 2009-2010 season. Also, 18 Lockhart says a lot of Brady's stats were accumulated by the Broncos playing prevent defense. Ezra, don't you? Or I think Ezra might have just stepped away. I think Ezra earlier today had mentioned on Facebook. You guys can check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/WakeUpItsFootball and facebook.com/IdiotSportsTalk. I checked out a post that Ezra posted today. He said that he absolutely hates when teams play prevent defense. So when he comes back, here he is right here. He comes back. Let me see if I get Ezra.
Yes, sir.
What is your argument against teams playing prevent defense?
What do you mean? What is my argument? It just you just open up the underneath, and you just give the team momentum. You give the team confidence when you play prevent defense. I understand you're preventing a big play, a quick score, but you're giving a team, a quarterback, momentum, easy plays, and that just generates, like I said, momentum and confidence. And I hate that. And usually prevent defense, eventually you're going to give up a touchdown. All you're doing is wasting time on the clock. Okay? I understand that's the goal sometimes, but when you do it with 8 minutes to go, 10 minutes to go, you're just giving the team hope and faith. I don't care if they're going to score a quick touchdown. All right? I'm going to go down the way I've been playing defense the whole game. I've always hated prevent defense, and I always will. I just don't find it. To me, it doesn't seem like it doesn't work. How many times have you seen a team lose, come back because the other team is playing prevent defense? How many times have you seen that, David?
Well, not a lot.
To me, that strategy it seems like it works 40% of the time. Okay, let's say 60% of the time. That means 4 out of 10 you might lose the game because you're playing prevent defense. I don't know. I've never been a fan of it. This disgusts me. You know what the prevent defense needs, right? It needs the boot, baby. Get that crap out of here. It needs the boot. Prevent defense needs the boot. Who's with me? People are asking in the comment box for the boot. Prevent defense needs it. Okay? John Fox, you are pissing me off. Prevent defense, all coaches need to give it the boot.
Hey, you know who else got the boot today? 2 more teams got the boot.
I know. And guess what? I got 2 boots, baby. We got the 49ers right here. This is the 49ers. We got the Patriots on the left hand. Right here. We got the boots going. Oh. I better stop doing that. I'm getting all this dust all over my face.
Peace Peace San, I think is how you say this username, says the Seahawks the Seahawks are the worst team ever. They show no sportsmanship. They don't even play fair, and they're gonna get owned by the Broncos. The worst team ever? I think that's just someone being bitter, or someone's just a really, really big Broncos fan.
I mean, like they're jerks. That's what he called them. He called the Seahawks jerks. And I've been hearing, I don't know too many Seahawks fans personally, but I've been hearing that their fans have been very cocky this year, and they haven't won anything, obviously. And that's what I've been reading all over, that Seahawks fans, I guess they're feeding off the cockiness off the team. You know what? Like I said, it just creates, more interest and hate for the team, and I think that's good for the league. But it is what it is.
The 18 Lockhart asks, does Peyton Manning retire after this season? He might want to go out on top if he does win this Super Bowl. What do you think?
Wait, repeat that?
He thinks that Peyton Manning, or he asks, does Peyton Manning retire after this year if he wins the Super Bowl, and does he go out on top?
I was reading that after the season, he's going to meet with his doctors and to see if how his neck is doing, and even if he wins or doesn't win the Super Bowl, this was the plan. He was going to meet with the doctors and to see if long-term, if he continues to play or if he continue taking hits, will it affect him long-term in his health. And if so, he's going to decide to retire or not. So if he wins, I think, and depending on what the doctors say, I think there's a good chance that Peyton Manning might retire. He might want to go on top. Who's the guy that leads the way for the Broncos? Who will understand that? John Elway, is going to tell him how it is, his thoughts, because he went out on top. So I imagine he's going to take a lot of advice from John Elway too. So I wouldn't be surprised if he did retire after hearing all this stuff.
With how hard it is to win a Super Bowl, no matter what kind of team you think you have, I think he would definitely have to consider retiring if that's the plan he wants to take of going out on top, winning a Super Bowl and calling it a career. I think he would consider it. I don't know if it's a for sure, thing, but it would probably be at least somewhere in his mind that, let me weigh my options here and see if I should come back next season. Now here's a good topic to discuss for in the next 2 weeks. Super Hippo 95 says this is a great Super Bowl matchup where you're seeing a number one defense versus a number one offense, and that's exactly what it is. When you think about this matchup, you're thinking about the Seattle Seahawks defense, how stingy that team is against a high-powered Peyton Manning offense. Who wins that tug of war? Because that's how you have to think about it. Do the Seahawks prevent the Broncos from scoring X amount of points? Do the Broncos end up scoring 30, 35 points on a very good? Where's that tug of war? And who wins it? Mr. Ezra.
Well, typically, I don't know if I'm going on top of my head. If you look at the history of the NFL, okay, how many top 5, okay, or top 3 offensive won the Super Bowl, okay, and had I guess a average or below defense. I can't think of too many right off the top of my head, Usually I'm a defensive guy. I believe in defense wins championships, such and such. But this is the new age of the NFL. Surpassingly, quarterbacks, by far the most important position in the league, and you need to have one nowadays to be successful. I'm leaning towards the offensive side right now. Okay, right now, I'm going to give the edge. Oh, man, this is tough because I've always been a defensive guy. But the Seahawks don't have it's not like they have a lousy offense themselves. They got beast mode. They got Russell Wilson. New day and age, I'm going to go with the Broncos offense at this point. There's so many weapons on that team.
Let me ask you this question. Do you think Seattle can put up 24 points or more against
the Broncos? Yes, I think they can.
Really?
Yeah. How many points did they put up today against the 49ers defense?
23.
Okay, do the Broncos, do they have the 49ers defense?
No,
And,
but they
and
play.
Russell,
But wouldn't you agree that the Broncos defense played a lot better than they normally do in any other circumstance, and let alone be the AFC Championship game?
yeah, you're right about that. They played great today. Okay, but they met the Patriots earlier this year. You know, they have some similarities. They're familiar with each other.
Well, not only did they meet them, they lost to them.
Yeah, I know that. And like I said, they put up 23 points to a 49ers defense that was smacking around Russell Wilson. If the Broncos would sign up for 4 sacks or how many hurries, Russell Wilson probably, I think, had about 10 hurries today, you know. Would they sign up today for that? I think they would. They would love that. That's how much pressure the 49ers, and they put up 23 points. You know, credit some of that to some interceptions by Cap and some turnovers, but, you know, they do have the best defense, and they can force an interception against Peyton Manning. I think they could force some type of turnovers against the Broncos. But, yeah, I believe they could put up 24 points if they put up 23 today.
I can't wait. I really want to see this matchup. I want to see Peyton win a Super Bowl. I'm leaning towards the Broncos. If I had to put a score on it, I'm thinking like it's going to be like a 27-23 game or something along those lines. I think the Broncos score a little bit less than they normally do because of that Seattle defense. I think the Seahawks score somewhere in the neighborhood of about 20 to 24 points, and I think the Broncos end up winning by about 3 or 4. But that's just me. You know, I really want to see Peyton win another one before he retires. I think Russell Wilson has a long and promising future ahead of him in Seattle. So let's give it to the veteran. Let's give it to Peyton Manning. And let's head down to the FanDuel comment box. And 18 Lockhart, who was the MVP last week on the solo show, says, how did the Ravens trade Bolden for a 6th-round pick is beyond me.
Well, we already know why. They had to pay someone.
Well, it's not that they had to pay someone.
Yes, they did.
They had
They had to pay
You
someone.
can make that argument. You can make that argument. You can make the argument.
Ching, Joe Flacco cashed in, baby. And they had to bring in free agents, and you know they didn't feel.
Okay, they had to bring free agents, but guess who else was a free agent? Anquan Bolden. Here's the thing: sixth round pick. Some people might not know this. They were going to cut him. They were going to release him. At least they got something in return. Minnesota called him up. They said, "Hey, we'll give you a 7th," and they were about to trade him to Minnesota for a 7th rounder until the 49ers ended up calling him, said, "Hey, we'll give you a 6th." But otherwise, they weren't going to get anything. They were just going to flat out release him because they thought that he was demanding too much money. So
demanding too much money. It was in his contract already.
Or what was he a free agent or was he was it?
He had 1 more year left on his deal. I think it was $6 to $8 million. Let's say $6 million. And, you know, they needed to sign free agents after paying their boy $120 million.
Let me ask you a question, Ezra.
Ching.
Because here's the thing: if I don't remember how much money Bolden needed or was going to have for this season. If it was anywhere in that $6 to $7 million neighborhood, I have no idea why they wouldn't keep him in Baltimore. Just because if you look at some of these other receivers on other teams who are getting paid, you have Pierre Garçon, who really didn't do a whole lot this year. Number 1 receiver on that team. But he's getting $8 million this year. I think it was $8.2 million. Would you rather have Anquan or Pierre?
Depends on the team. Let's not act like Garçon is a bum now.
I don't think he's a bum, but do you think he deserves $8.2 million a year? I don't know. It comes down to.
Do you believe Joe Flacco deserves $20 million a year?
No. I never said. I'm not talking about Joe. I'm not talking about Joe.
I know you're not talking about Joe. I'm just saying. I understand why he got $20 million a year, and I understand why Pierre Garçon got $8 million a year.
And if you look at Joe Flacco's contract is not a 6-year contract. Ideally, it's a 3-year contract because by the 4th year, they're going to be taking like a $30-some-odd million cap hit, and there's not a chance in the world. There's not a chance in the world Joe Flacco will be on that roster if he doesn't restructure his contract. So I don't know why they put off, they put things into that contract the way they do, and they just put it off for 3 more years. But he's not going to get paid all that money. And a lot of people, you have to go look at the numbers. But that's a different story for a different day. The Postman's very excited that the boot is back. Ezra, we got to come up with a couple more topics of who's getting the boot. We'll have to figure it out as the show goes. Hey, Colin Kaepernick got the boot.
I know you want to bring out the boot for Colin. There's a couple, Oh man, there's gonna be somebody else next in 2 weeks is gonna get the boot. You know who else deserves the boot? The Pro Bowl. The new format deserves the boot. It hasn't even been played yet. F the Pro Bowl. It deserves the boot. Who's with me? You're not with me. Are you excited for this new Pro Bowl format? Are you gonna watch the draft? I'm not. I'm not watching the Pro Bowl draft. I'm giving it the boot. The Pro Bowl draft. Are you watching it?
Yeah, that's a new topic. You guys throw your comments down in the FanDuel comment box. Telling us whether you're going to watch the Pro Bowl, whether you're excited for the Pro Bowl, and anything else about the Pro Bowl that needs to be, talked about.
The only thing that will get me that got me tiny bit excited.
Yep, I already know.
It's about Deion Sanders saying that he was going to suit up and play. And if Jerry Rice says he's going to play, I would like to watch that. That's about it. I'll watch a couple plays of that, and that's it. If it's confirmed, I haven't heard that they're both going to suit up and play. Since I haven't heard that, I'm not going to watch it.
I think they pick the teams on Wednesday.
Yes.
But we'll see. We'll see. I want to see Deion suit up. I want to see Jerry suit up. But you can't really coach your team when you're out on the field. You know what I mean? So I don't know. And is there going to be someone who intervenes, like a Roger Goodell or someone else, who pretty much tells them, it would be entertaining, but we don't want you to get hurt, or we don't want you to do this or that? I think, honestly, truthfully, it would bring in a little bit more better TV ratings.
I think this might be the second to last year for the Pro Bowl. How about bold prediction right there, baby? Second to last year, the Pro Bowl exists.
To me, I think what it should really there shouldn't be a Pro Bowl. And just like how college players are given those, awards and accolades, like first team All-American or first team All-SEC or whatever it is, why don't you just give the Pro Bowl as a title? Don't even have them go to games. That way, when you're labeled as a Pro Bowler, when you look back, you're labeled as a 3-time Pro Bowler, 9-time Pro Bowler. You're just given that title rather than actually going through and playing a game that has no meaning. So I think that would probably be a better idea, but you know how it is with the NFL. One more game means an extra X amount of revenue, so that's just always the way it's going to be. FanDuel comment box. Super Hippo 95 says, with the Super Bowl being on a neutral field, how detrimental of an effect will it have on Seattle, considering the effect of the 12th man? Which is a very, very good question. Ezra, you want to tackle that one first?
Once again, I wasn't paying attention. I was reading the comments. I pay attention to the people, not you, David. I apologize for that. You said about the 12th man. You said something about the 12th man?
Super Hippo 95, I'll repeat the question. He says, with the Super Bowl being on a neutral field, how detrimental of an effect will it have on the Seahawks, considering the effect of the 12th man?
I think it will be. It's gonna cause an effect. The last couple of years they haven't been so great on the road. This year they did a much better job of that. Playing on the road. But you see how they are at home. They're just so comfortable. What is Russell Wilson's record? Something like among the lines like 17-1 at home, or something like that.
16 and 17-1, yeah.
It's something ridiculous. So yeah, it's gonna affect them big time. But it's a neutral field, so. Are there going to be more? I imagine there's going to be more Bronco fans there here in New York, but I think it is going to affect them. Do I feel them costing the game? I won't go as far because they're not playing on the road per se, and they're playing on the neutral field. But it will take effect on them because you got to go against the grain, right? 17-1, you got to go against that.
Andre Rios asked, did Colin Kaepernick cost the 49ers the game today? I, I don't know. I mean, he did have how many turnovers? Didn't he have 2 picks and a fumble? Did he fumble the ball?
Do we want to put all the blame on him? I don't think I want to.
I don't know. I mean,
where was the running game today for the 49ers? You know, he was the one that provided the running game, right?
Yeah, he was the only one who probably did anything in the running game.
So I don't want to say it was all him.
Yeah. You know. 49ers rushing stats. Colin Kaepernick, 11 carries, 130 yards with a long of 58. Kendall Hunter, 3 carries, 16 yards. Frank Gore, 11 carries, 14 yards.
Exactly. So, the running game didn't help him. Like I said, Bolden had a couple drops. He just overall, if I want to put the most blame on someone, I'll put it on Cap. But do I want to say he cost the game? I don't want to say that so much because I don't like that when we give too much credit to the quarterback or too much blame. He didn't get too much help out there either. So I don't want to. I'm gonna say no. He did not cost him the game. But you want to give him the most of the blame? All right, cool. I'm cool with that. But I won't say he cost the game. It's like say if Alex Smith was the starter today, would they have won? I saw some tweets like that. I wish we still had Alex Smith. Do I believe you guys would have beat Seattle if you had Alex Smith today? No, I don't think so. I don't think Alex Smith would have ran for 130 yards.
At the same time, he would have had
5-yard dump passes. I know. Not
even 5-yard dump passes. He would have had at least 10 or 15 more passes attempted. And you kind of just don't know what would have happened. You can sit here and debate and talk about it all day long. It's just not what happened. And I mean, Alex Smith, I think, is still one of those quarterbacks. Is a little bit more of a game manager, like you just said, dinks and dunks, whatever, short yards, here and there. I don't know. I mean, without Kaepernick, they wouldn't have had 130 yards rushing from him. So he was pretty much the guy who produced for them on the ground and in the air, and it wasn't enough. But I'm gonna refresh the comments. A lot of comments coming in. And here we go. Let's see what you guys got to say. And the topic for people who are just coming in, the topic for tonight, or one of the topics we just came up with is, are you going to watch the Pro Bowl? And if you are, what are some of the things you're looking forward to in about, a week from now? Super Hippo 95 says, I'd like Sherman to try and prove that he's the best corner in the league. To Deion Sanders and Jerry Rice. Try covering Jerry and saying that to Deion straight up. Bird Gang 559 says, where was LeGarrette Blount in the Patriots game?
Being stuffed in the backfield. That's it. The Broncos rush defense, the defense today was, phenomenal. Like I said, John Fox, who didn't get any credit for being a defensive guy this week, had a great defensive plan today. Him and Jack Del Rio put it together, and the guys executed. They deserve a lot of credit.
LeGarrette Blount.
Yeah.
You know what?
He was smoking them last week. First at the Colts.
The last 2 weeks, last 2 performances, he looked like a stud.
Last 3 weeks, he's been, averaging over 100 yards. He's been sensational,
Now
you talk about, and people talk about Tom Brady lacks weapons. Those 3 running backs are no scrubs. Shane Vereen, who I thought should have been more incorporated in the passing game today, was not. He's a dual threat in the backfield. We know he got the fumble problems, but Stephen Ridley, he's a very powerful running back. And Blount, who was a 1,000-yard back with the Buccaneers a couple years ago, that's a dangerous 3-headed monster right there in the backfield.
Blount had 5 carries for 6 yards.
Was that Broncos defense today, man?
I'm telling you, that Broncos defense is not a joke, and they don't have Von Miller.
Or their starting cornerback, Chris Harris.
They got a banged up Paris Lennon, who's like 36,000 years old. I think he just got hurt today at inside linebacker as a fill-in. I mean, this defense is not, what it was in week 1 when they had all their guys healthy. They got Sylvester Williams, their rookie, on the defensive line. A lot of guys are banged up, a lot of guys are missing, but today they looked really, really good. And again, what was his name on the defensive line? Terrence Knighton. What's his nickname?
I have no idea. Oh, pot roast.
Pot roast.
Pot roast, baby.
Looked like a stud today.
Oh, I don't know if he looked like a stud. He did look like a pot roast, that's for sure. He was big, massive stomach, man. Oh, my God. If I ever go to dinner with him, we're going buffet.
I'll probably shut the whole place down.
That's the only place I'm taking. He ain't going to order one of those entrees on me. We got a good question from 18 Lockhart, and I'm very certain about this. In my vote, if I had one, in your guys' opinion, okay, is Kurt Warner a Hall of Famer?
What? Why are we talking about Kurt Warner?
Well, we are talking about the playoffs, and since I believe Kurt Warner should be in the Hall of Fame, I'm going to say this. Honestly, I think he's one of the greatest playoff performers in NFL history. I really want to say he's the greatest playoff performer I've ever seen. With the Rams, with the Cardinals, this guy, it was automatic over 300 yards, a couple touchdowns in the playoffs. Kurt Warner was an absolute monster in the playoffs. I've never seen anyone consistently put up monster game after monster game with a team in the playoffs. He was just insane. People want to talk about, I'm gonna sound like a basher once again because I'm not the hugest Patriots fan. Tom Brady, he won his first Super Bowl being a game manager. You could say again for his second Super Bowl, it was more on that defense once again. But Kurt Warner, he was just an absolute monster in the play. In the playoffs, I'll pay any kind of money to watch that man play in the playoffs. Kurt Warner was just a beautiful man to watch on that football field.
I don't know. I'd have to look at some of his performances. I have to look at some of his numbers.
You better look at them. Those beautiful numbers.
But I don't think you can label. I mean, how many Super Bowls did he win? Was it one? Right? I think, wasn't it against the Titans?
Yes. But he's been to 3 Super Bowls.
He's been to 3. He's 1-2, right, in Super Bowls. I think he lost against Tom Brady in 2001, and he lost to the Steelers when he was playing with the Cardinals.
I'm gonna bring up some of these numbers, man.
I mean, you have to remember who he had at wide receiver.
Okay.
You have to remember, what was it called in St. Louis?
Yeah, of course, greatest show on turf. I understand that. But listen to these career numbers in the playoffs by Kurt Warner. In 13 career games, my man, 13 career games, he has 3,952 yards with 31 touchdowns and 14 interceptions. In 13 career playoff games. If this was 16 games regular season, is that MVP type numbers? Is that a great season? Is that a great season?
Yeah.
That is a great season. In a 16-game regular, this is 13 games in the playoffs, man. This guy was a stud. He was insane. Oh, my God. I think versus your Packers, okay? 370 yards, 5 touchdowns. I remember he spanked your Packers.
Yo, Brett Favre threw 6 picks in that game.
Spanked your Packers.
That was the ugliest 45-17 loss that I've ever seen. Okay.
No, this was versus Aaron Rodgers, 51-45 result.
Oh. I thought you were talking about the one in 2001.
No, I wasn't talking about that one.
Or 2000, whenever.
That's what he did with the Cardinals. With the versus your guy, he only had
Don't talk about spanking the Packers. That game was probably one of the best games you'll ever see. That Packers and Cardinals game.
You guys got spanked.
No, nobody got spanked. The score was like 30. Like,
I'm talking about 45-17. Oh my God, you guys got.
Yeah, that one was nasty. All right, but this Aaron Rodgers and
Well, it was a great game. It was a great game, but
it was phenomenal. That got led into overtime. It was a great game to watch.
That guy's a Hall of Famer in my mind. I don't care if he makes it or not. That man is a Hall of Famer, and one.
You know what? I think he is compared to
performers.
some of the. If you saw some of the other quarterbacks in the Hall of Fame, some of their numbers, I think Kurt Warner, bare minimum, should be on the ballot. So let me go to the comments. Gotta keep refreshing the page. FanDuel comment box. If you guys aren't familiar with FanDuel.com, it's a betting website. You guys can do your fantasy sports, play whenever you want, bet $1, bet $10, bet $1 million, doesn't matter. It's really actually fun. And the link is actually down in the description. You just click on that. I got a promo code in there if you guys want to use that as well. But that's stuff you guys can do on your own time. 18 Lockhart says that for a while he thought Kurt Warner was the most accurate QB in the NFL. Carmen Chavez wants to know, when will Tom Brady retire? I think he's on a 2-year contract right now. And, I'm going to give him at least I'm going to give him at least the 2014 season. He's going to play next year. And then in 2015, I don't know. We'll see, but he's getting a little bit older. I think he's still got at least 2 seasons left in him.
I think it all depends on the team around him. I think he's the kind of guy, he gets frustrated when he doesn't have, the talent around him, or, if the franchise needs to start going in the rebuilding mode, he'll say, like, you know what, my wife makes more money than me anyway. I'm giving it up. I'm just going to make Uggs commercials and just call it a day. Be in some GQ, be in some TV movies and stuff like that. So I think it depends on how this team is going to move forward. So, like you said, maybe another 2 years, but I think it depends going forward.
Super Hippo 95 says, who do you see winning more Super Bowls in their career, Colin Kaepernick or Russell Wilson?
I see none in none of their careers. How about that one? Unless they're a backup quarterback. Oh,
0?
0, baby. You got a new wave, man. You got Aaron Rodgers, who's still pretty young. You got Andrew Luck. These guys are studs. These are the guys that are going to be fighting in the Super Bowls years down the road. And let's not forget about Ben Roethlisberger. He's still pretty young himself.
Can we not?
What? Bring up Big Ben?
Talk about Big Ben.
Why? Because he's been in 3 Super Bowls already. Why?
Have you looked at the numbers?
Have I looked at what numbers? I know he wins. I know that.
You know he wins?
So
if you want to talk about team,
don't talk about my boy Big Ben, okay?
Don't talk
He's
about.
He's big in the playoffs too. Talk about my boy like that.
You want to talk about putting enough, a lot of blame on quarterbacks or not giving them enough recognition. Whatever you said earlier.
I'm just saying he plays big in playoffs. They didn't say he won all those Super Bowls. They didn't say that.
No, he didn't.
I know he didn't. You're talking about a game. Like I said, Tom Brady was a game manager his first Super Bowl. Ben Roethlisberger was a super game. He was Trent Dilfer in that first Super Bowl. Okay, I'll tell you that. But Big Ben, he was pretty good versus the Cardinals, versus Kurt Warner in that Super Bowl, wasn't he? Threw that touchdown to Santonio Holmes. That was
a nice throw.
That
was a nice throw and catch.
Yes, it was. It was beautiful. And that third, he can easily have 3 Super Bowls right now, and he's still pretty young.
Don't say easily. Don't say easily.
Easily. Should have 3 Super Bowls right now. But, and it's the Steelers. I don't care if they missed the playoffs this year and last year. This is still a great organization. They know how to put teams together, and, they have older players, but they're going to reload. They're going to get that, they know how to draft, plain and simple. So I think the Steelers will be for years to come. So is the Ravens. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of Joe Flacco, Ozzie Newton knows how to create a team. I think he's the best GM in football. That man is amazing, what he does. So it is what it is. You might say, I know those Seahawks are pretty young. So are the 49ers, and these two have those great defenses. They have these powerhouses. But, I don't want to say these guys are going to win Super Bowls left and right. I'm going to say 0 right now. That's what I feel. Oh, did I just give away my prediction for last week? I guess so. For 2 weeks from now.
well. Before you give away your prediction,
I already did. I already gave up.
We got Glass. I'm pretty sure it's Glass from Get With It Sports down in the comments. He says, I know both of you guys are going with my beloved Broncos in the Super Bowl, right? Who are you going with, Ezra?
I'm going with the AFC team because I'm an AFC guy. Broncos, baby. Peyton Manning. I've been saying he's on a mission. He wants to shut everybody up that says that's nonsense, and he's going to do it 2 weeks from now, baby. He's going to he's going to throw for 260 yards, big yards, versus the Seahawks. 260. Not too many.
I'm picking the Broncos to win the Super Bowl.
And you know what that means, right? Since we're both picking the Broncos, right?
What does that mean?
That means the Seahawks are going to win. Damn,
you know what that means? That means the Seahawks are getting the boot.
They're going to get the boot 2 weeks. I can't give them the boot right now.
Not yet. But, like I said earlier, I think Peyton Manning deserves one more Super Bowl win.
Deserve? I don't know about deserve.
What do you mean you don't know about deserve?
Well, how do you say deserve? He deserves to win. He deserves it.
Peyton Manning, with all the crap that people talk, he deserves to win this game.
My Jets deserve to win a Super Bowl. Okay, all the years that we suffered.
Why?
You don't deserve it. You got to earn it. Okay? I don't say my Jets deserve a Super Bowl.
You don't think Peyton Manning's earned it?
No, he needs to earn it 2 weeks from now. So we should just give him a Super Bowl right now because, he's had a
give him a Super
career.
Bowl.
I'm not giving him no damn Super Bowl. Go out there and get it.
They're throwing up some Russell Wilson highlights right now. He just completed a pass to Jermaine Kearse. I don't even know how he did it. I mean, Russell Wilson, he's got some accuracy, and especially on the run. You're talking about, I never answered this question. You're talking about Colin Kaepernick and Russell Wilson. They're never going to win a Super Bowl. If I had to pick one, I'm going Russell Wilson. Not because 100% based off of talent, but also because based off of just how he carries himself off the field as well. I just like his character a little bit more. And I think some of the things I've heard about Russell, he's in at the facilities at like 4 or 5 in the morning, first one there. He's got his workout, and everything going, and he's the last one out. And he mentally prepares for his games. He mentally prepares for whatever's coming at him, and just how he carries himself. Colin Kaepernick, I feel as if he's like I got a lot of swag to my game, and I don't know, but I'm picking Russell. If I had to pick one of the two to win the Super Bowl, yeah. You counting over there, Ezra?
Yeah, because I put an early prediction Super Bowl. Who you got? I got 8 votes on the Idiot Sports Talk Facebook. Got 8 votes for the Broncos right now, and I'm counting the Seahawks. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So far I got 8 Broncos, 6 Seahawks for the Super Bowl prediction. So a lot of people believe this is going to be a tight one. It's pretty close right there.
A lot of good comments coming in right now. So 18 Lockhart says, so when Tom Brady retires, does Belichick retire? I don't think he retires. I think Belichick stays. I'm going to say Belichick stays. James Ornalis says he's picking the Broncos. Carmen Chavez says, where's Black Mama? Actually, it's Black
Mamba. Black Mama. Where's Black Mama?
Is Bill Belichick one of the best coaches of all time? 215 wins, 112 losses, which is a 65.9 win percentage.
Yes, he is.
I think he is.
I hate to say yes, he is. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. I don't think that's a debate. That's just, even though I love to get on him, okay? I love to get on Spygate. I feel like, such and such. I can keep on with Bill Belichick or Bill Belichick, but he is one of the great ones of all time.
Well, I think we should throw down some comments for you guys, or you guys should throw some comments down for us.
Black Mama.
If you haven't already given your prediction for the Super Bowl, throw your Super Bowl picks down below. Maybe even give us a score. We're going to be on for another maybe 15 to 20 minutes, and hopefully, we should come up with a couple of bold predictions for the Super Bowl, Ezra. That's what we should do. Peyton Manning, Russell Wilson, Super Bowl 48. And here's a bold prediction, or maybe something that we should talk about. Do you think the Super Bowl gets moved because of the weather? Do you think it'll, whatever reason, snow so bad in New York that they have to delay the Super Bowl?
No. You can't delay a Super Bowl. You just can't do it. If it's so what? It snows. They play regular football games in the snow. I see it have no. Unless
what
it's
if it's a blizzard?
I was going to say, if it's something ridiculous, like that might be a possibility. But if it's just a regular snowstorm, I don't see it happening. It's the Super Bowl. How do you move the Super Bowl?
Well, I don't know. Didn't someone come out and say
the Super Bowl? I don't know if it's ever been in any of you guys' towns or anything, but the Super Bowl is so massive. I was looking in the process to move out or whatever. I'm checking apartments and stuff like that on like Craigslist, and I see people renting out their houses, their apartments, just for the Super Bowl. Plain and simple, just for the Super Bowl, they're renting. Everybody makes money off the Super Bowl. This is why everybody wants the Super Bowl in town. You know how much they charge them for parking that day, David, here in New York City? For parking at the parking, I want you to take a guess. I want everybody to take one guess how much they're going to charge for parking at the Super Bowl. I want you to take a guess, David.
Well, what do you mean at the Super Bowl?
At the stadium, regular parking at the stadium. How much do you think they're going to charge parking?
I'm going to say $100.
$100. Do you think that's a lot of money just for parking?
Yeah, that's a lot of money. I could buy 20 hot dogs with that at a stadium, and that's still expensive for $5 for a hot dog. But you can buy 20 hot dogs instead of parking. I'd just walk there.
You know how? Okay, you were close. It's $120 to park.
That's ridiculous.
At the stadium. $120. It's just the Super. You know how much? You already know how much these commercials spend. These brands. It's $3-4 million for a 30-second commercial during the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they make a lot of money.
A
lot of money.
Super Bowl. I was telling a friend earlier. She's not big into football or anything like that. But everybody watches the Super Bowl. I say you should make the Super Bowl a national holiday. Who does not watch the Super Bowl?
That would be nice.
It's an event. People get together. They make parties out of it. You get smashed. Okay, if you're over 21, you get intoxicated. Right here, I might be drunk if we're gonna do it. Red Zone Blitz that night. Matter of fact, I gotta work that night, which is disgusting, because it's the Super Bowl. I work in hospitality. I work in a hotel. And
wait. So are you even gonna be able to watch the game?
Oh, I'm gonna be watching the game. I'll just be watching it at work. But that's how big it is. They're forcing me to work that day because it's the Super Bowl, and they're not moving it, David. They're not moving it, and it should be a national holiday. We should start this movement here in the Red Zone Blitz. We should start a petition and send it to Obama. Let's make the Super Bowl a national holiday so I can have the next day off and get over my hangover. And if you're over 21, I want you to get over your hangover. Okay?
I want to see if if ESPN is about to put on Richard Sherman's comments, because if it is, I'm about to blast my TV up. Hopefully we see if we can hear this. Because I really want to see, I want to get a second look at what he had to say. And right now they're showing Colin Kaepernick's interception at the end of the game where Richard Sherman tipped it. And we'll see. But
Super Hippo wants to know, will Manning's record-breaking season be forgotten if he loses the Super Bowl?
No.
I agree. It won't be
Tom
forgotten.
Tom Brady had a record-breaking season, and he lost the Super Bowl. They still talked about it year after year until Peyton Manning just broke it this year.
Yeah. But what I was going to say to Super Hippo, in football, numbers aren't as celebrated as in other sports, especially baseball, you know. So I don't, it's not, the record-breaking season is not that much of a big deal numbers-wise. It just, people just don't care that much compared to, a home run record or a hits record, something among those lines. And other, stuff like that.
I'm waiting on this Richard Sherman. I'm waiting. Are they gonna show it?
Why don't you just YouTube it, man?
Well, because if I play it over the laptop, I don't think people are gonna hear it. They'll play in my ear.
Oh, okay.
So I don't think they're gonna show his.
So,
maybe they will.
We got a couple predictions. We got $75 for the parking, $100 for parking, stuff like that. We got some predictions. We got Muhammad. He got the Seahawks losing to the Broncos 24-28. J88 31-27 Seahawks. So we got a couple, people scoring. We got a couple people. We got Carmen Sanchez. He's got not Sanchez. 24-14 Seahawks. We got James. He's got the Seahawks winning. Oh no, the Broncos blowing out the Seahawks 30-10. And he doesn't even have it as a game. We got Wiki calling for the Broncos 28-20. So most of you guys got it somewhat of a close game, except for James. He thinks there's going to be a blowout. J88 thinks I should be president. I don't know about all that. We will be legalized, even though I don't smoke, throughout all 51 states.
51 states?
52 is more like 52, man. Okay, Puerto Rico is basically a state. I don't care what anybody says. And everybody get free boots. Right there, baby. You get boots. And, Super Hippo 95, what brand will have the best Super Bowl commercial? That's a prediction. That's going to be tough.
I'm going to say, I already know.
Well, you going to go with Bud Light?
I'm going to say Doritos.
But Doritos that's always a heavy contender. Those guys always come up big, man. Doritos is, I remember that when the kid slapped the dude when he was when he was waiting for his mom, but he was touching his Doritos.
Get your hands off my mama and get your hands off my Doritos.
Smacked him, kid. Everyone smacked across. But did you see the preview for some of the commercials for Bud Light tonight? You saw Arnold Schwarzenegger with the ping pong table with the long
What is Arnold
hair?
doing?
Don't ever talk about Arnold's the man.
No, he is the man, just not in that commercial. He's the woman in that commercial.
That's okay. He was even good in comedies, all right? Arnold could do whatever he wants. I'm looking forward to that Arnold commercial. But they had a couple, man. They had a couple preview commercials tonight, Bud Light. They're always contenders. It's another brand. It's always really big. There's always a lot of beers, man.
Go Daddy.
Go Daddy. They've been slacking off the last couple of years, I love Danica Patrick, cool, yeah. I've seen her in bikini, nice, yummy, yum, yum, yum. Let me shake them in there, but let's switch it up a little bit. Okay?
Well, I think the Red Zone Blitz is coming to a close. We've been on for about an hour and 15 minutes. Today we watched the Denver Broncos defeat the New England Patriots. We watched the Seattle Seahawks defeat the San Francisco 49ers in Super Bowl 48. Now it's Denver and Seattle that are left, and it's time to update my draft boards and my mock drafts because we have 2 more teams topping out the top 30 now. And if you guys have been keeping up with any of my draft profiles I've been making, I'll be releasing my mock draft, my first one on February 1st, and I'll be releasing those at the first of every month. So it's time to look at some of that stuff. But we got your Super Bowl predictions. You got our Super Bowl predictions. We're picking Denver to win it all. We're picking Peyton Manning to get another ring. Some of you guys are picking Russell Wilson to get one in Seattle, which, you know, if either team wins, I think it'll be well deserved. I think both teams have very good squads right now. But Ezra, we got to decide what's going on for the Red Zone Blitz for the Super Bowl.
I guess we'll let them know in the near future on our Facebooks. Because, you know, I got to work that day, so I don't know what the deal is. Maybe I can get off. We'll see. I got to work my magic. I don't have any, but we'll see. I'm looking at the brands right now that's going to be in the Super Bowl. We got, I see Butterfinger. I see Cheerios, General Motors, Coca-Cola, Doritos, obviously, GoDaddy, H&M, Heinz. We got Hyundai. We got Jaguar, Kia, M&M's. We got Pepsi. We got a Soda Stream.
I think M&M's might be a dark horse.
We got Squarespace. You know, those up and coming, you know, businesses. They gotta go a little over the top. So you never know. Toyota. We got TurboTax, Volkswagen. You can't sleep on Volkswagen. I think that might be a dark horse too. Didn't they have one of those? They had a great commercial the last year or the year before that. I know they had a great one. So Volkswagen. Let's not sleep on them. That might be my dark horse right there.
I gotta make a mock draft for all these brands.
I see Scarlett Johansson for SodaStream. Scarlett Johansson. That's a first-round pick every single year. Scarlett Johansson. You told them out. Oh, man. Yeah, do you guys agree Scarlett Johansson first-round pick? First-round pick.
There's a lot of first-round picks. There's a lot of top 5 picks.
I know. I'm just saying that's a first-round pick right there. That's first-round talent. I don't know. I don't think she'll be my first overall, but that's a first-round pick.
All right. Well, that should be on a different YouTube channel, like.
Yes, they did. See, Volkswagen had they said Volkswagen. You got J88. He said they had the best commercial last year with the Jamaican one, with those dudes are talking, you know, the Jamaican accent. Those white dudes. Yeah, that was a pretty funny one.
I don't remember that one.
It was pretty fun. You better check it out. Well, what else we got here? We got how ironic best how ironic 2 states that legalize weed are in the Super Bowl. You know.
We never gave our MVP tonight before we get off.
Oh man, MVP. We got a lot of we got 55 comments right now.
No, we got more than 55. It just doesn't, for whatever reason, it doesn't update the number completely. I could look on my phone right now. It's definitely more than 100 right now. Tell you that much. Here, I'm going to look it up on my phone while you kind of look through the comments. And, I mean, you know, 18 Lockhart, as always, definitely a contender. But
James, once again, he starts off fast. He comes out, you know, the first couple rounds, and then, you know, later on, he loses air. You know, come on, James, you got to step it up in the second half. But James is another contender. He's still going, but he slowed it down. He's giving little jabs now. No power punches. Too many.
174 is what the count is at with comments.
I was going to say, Super Hippo. We've been reading a lot of his comments tonight. You
know what? I told 18 Lockhart last week that I might spread the wealth around again this week. So I think my MVP tonight is going to be Super Hippo 95. I think Super Hippo 95. Definitely a guy who's been here and there on the Red Zone Blitz, throws down good comments. And again, it's not about quantity, it's about quality. I thought Super Hippo 95 had couple of great topics for us to discuss tonight. So my MVP tonight is going to be Super Hippo 95.
And I am agreeing with you tonight. Even though there's a lot of guys out there, I'm going to agree with you. Super Hippo brought it tonight, stuff like that. And Postman, too. I was reading some of his stuff. Postman was giving it. And, 18 Lockhart, we have this little thing between each other. Well, 18 did I say 18 Team Lockhart? 18 Lockhart is always bringing it. He's like my personal Patriots. He's a pain in the ass. I hate him, but you got to respect him. It's plain and simple. It's just the way it is, and all that stuff. But Postman, he wants to know. I don't even watch the halftime show. He said, "Will the halftime show be a flop?" But this year, I'm gonna watch it because I love Hot Chili Peppers and I like Bruno Mars. I actually have his album, so I'm going to watch it this year.
That's where I go and reload on more chicken wings, so I'm probably not going to watch it. So
I'm going to watch it. You're not going to watch Hot Chili Peppers?
Hey,
are you serious?
We should have brought this up tonight. What is your favorite finger-eating food?
Finger-eating food? What?
You distracted me with the boot. You distracted me with the boot. All right, what's your favorite? What did I even say? I don't even know.
Just your favorite food during the Super Bowl? Finger-eating food. Whatever that means. Okay. All right. I'm a simple guy. I'm going with the wings, man. I love wings. I don't care. It don't have to be during the Super Bowl. I'm always going with wings. No matter. Man, wings is that.
I love me some chicken wings.
Wait, we was talking about. See, I was just talking about wings, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, Here you go, David. Right here, right next to me.
Where'd you pull that chicken wing from?
I told you.
The garbage?
It doesn't have to be the Super Bowl. It could be any time. Wings always hit the spot.
What?
Always hit the spot. So I'm not gonna lie to you guys. See, I eat wings.
Only Ezra would pull a chicken wing out of nowhere.
This is jerk sauce right here. You were talking about Jamaicans earlier, right? There's jerk chicken wings right there. This is breaded shrimp. Even though I don't like breaded, I don't like my shrimp breaded, but it is what it is. Still good.
I think.
What about yours, David?
For me, it's definitely chicken wings. I love chicken wings. And it's definitely something that I always like to have if I'm watching a football game. But, whatever you got out there, chips and dip.
I got sauce all over my laptop now.
I don't know. I don't know why I can't think of anything right now since I'm put on the spot. But my go-to is always chicken wings.
And for my 21 and over guys out there, what's your go-to drink? How about that one? I asked it for my Facebook earlier.
Some Samuel Jackson.
You gave me that Samuel Jackson picture. That Samuel Jackson's your favorite, huh? That was a good one.
I could actually, I can drink, whatever, man. Samuel Adams, PBR.
I hate Samuel Adams. Just to let you know, I hate it.
Boston Lager.
Boston's disgusting. All right? I'm more of a, simple kind of guy. I like Corona, Blue Moon. Obviously, I said Corona first, right, because I'm Spanish. That's racist, David. So, yeah. But Blue Moon, I like wheat beers, okay? Even though Corona's not a wheat beer. I like wheat beers. Shock Top.
Over here.
Garden.
Over here we got a lot of Miller Lite. That's the go-to. I want a beer. They just give you a Miller Lite because it's brewed locally. So, Miller Park is a Brewer Stadium. And everything. Hey, you come to Wisconsin, without a doubt, Wisconsin is the most drunkest state in the United States by far. For whatever reason, Wisconsinites have decided to make it a mission to just incorporate drinking with everything.
Speaking about that, I just noticed your Packers poster behind you says it's Miller time.
Here, let me see if I can get. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you see, you got Miller Lite right there. It's Miller. It's just something that's embedded into the culture. If you come to Wisconsin, it's beer, cheese, and brats. that's what you're gonna be consuming in Wisconsin. So, I mean, I know some people that don't even know what a brat is, and they've lived wherever they've lived in and around the country, and they've never even heard of a brat. So, yeah, I think it's pretty cool to just kind of travel across the United States and still find different, those different, I guess, cultural aspects. Like I was telling my buddy Matt, I want to go down south for the food. I want to eat some southern food because I've never had that. Because I think I feel like it's more authentic. So, but we're talking about food and not football anymore. This is what happens when you talk about.
When you're talking about Super Bowl, there's food incorporated.
I know.
It's a big thing, right?
I know.
Anyway, I think it's time to give this show the boot. It's time for us to get walking. And a lot of you guys gave your predictions who's going to get the boot 2 weeks from now. This week, I'm giving the Pro Bowl the boot because I'm not watching it. I never watch it because it's absolute worthless. Roger Cordell, please get rid of it. I may watch the draft. And I think we had a question from somebody. I don't know who exactly. Who do you think is going to be the first pick in the Pro Bowl draft? And we'll end it with that, David. Who would you pick as your first overall pick in the?
Picking a quarterback. Whoever, I'd have to look at the list of names, but whoever I think is the best quarterback on the list, that's my number one pick.
So Aaron Rodgers, okay. So
Aaron Rodgers isn't in the Pro Bowl, so it's not Aaron Rodgers. Okay? You know what? Here's my pick. If Peyton Manning, if he was going to play in the Pro Bowl, that's who my pick would be. But since he's going to the Super Bowl, is Drew Brees in the Pro Bowl? If Drew Brees is in the Pro Bowl, that's my number one pick.
I'm going to go with J.J. Watt.
That's fine. You can chase after Drew Brees in.
Whoever quarterback you pick, that man will hunt you down, eat you alive. That's my first overall pick, J.J. Watt.
All right, and thanks for the MVP of the night, Super Hippo 95. We will definitely collaborate, me and Ezra, on the time for the Super Bowl edition of the Red Zone Blitz. Again, check us out on Facebook. That's where we update everything revolving around the Red Zone Blitz, so you guys can get the time for that before the show even starts. So that's facebook.com/WakeUpItsFootball and facebook.com/IdiotSportsTalk. Ezra from Idiot Sports Talk on YouTube. Dave from Wake Up It's Football with the Red Zone Blitz. We're out.
We'll see you guys later. Meeting.